Okay, we've looked at player XG and we've looked at the game center, which is all around goals, the expectation of goals, whether by a team, a match, or by a player. So look at the detailed games, which is another football tool, slightly different database, detailed games. So I'm just going to load it up here. Detailed games is really all the other stats that can go around a football game. This is cards, corners, even things from Betfair Exchange, like a penalty, sending off. And we actually lump the shots on target onto the same page as well, just as a sort of nice, neat request that someone asked us to do. So on this front page here, we see a list of leagues. I'm going to filter by the UEFA Nations League, which is the big game tonight. I've got three options. I can go and see the details of Netherlands versus Croatia, or I can go straight over to the calculator and load that game up and have a look at different lines on the bet builder, or I can copy this to CSV. So first let's go into detailed, or I can copy, by the way, all games to CSV up at the top. So let's go into the detailed. What we see here, we're going to start with a few lines from Betfair Exchange, the home draw away and the over 1, 2 and 3. Okay. And then the first section really looks at goals. So we look at the match XG, which is 2.37, and we can sort of change over goals with a little calculator here. Just have a quick calculation without the need to go over to the bet builder. And we have home and away. Now we've got the lines here. So the match XG is 2.37. The home is 1.44. The away is 0.93. When we split up our expectancies for goals, for corners, for cards, we always make sure that everything adds up. So 1.44 and 0.93 is 2.37. If we add up first half and second half, we get 2.37, 1.04 and 1.33. And if we add up all of the halves by team, we end up with either the first half or the home or the match XG, right? So it all adds up. It's very important that it all adds up. Sometimes if you look at the spreads, you could maybe add the home and away and you don't get the match. And it's important for our calculations, for our markets to be, if you like, complete, to be summing to 100%. So we do talk about where the source of this comes from. The Match XG comes from the Match XG tool, actually. So go and have a look at that video if you want to know more about the source of the information there. The home and away splits come from the average of Sporting Index and SpreadX. Now, it doesn't necessarily have to be the average. It could be from one or the other. But if we've got both, we will take the average, okay? The first half and the second half XG are a regression calculation. So we know the match XG, we know statistically how many goals are in the first half, and so we use our equation to do that. And then splitting by first half home, first half away, second half home, second half away. Well, we can do some simple derivations from the parents line, because if we know the home and the away and we know the first half and the second half, then we can work this out. Finally, we've got just some information about first team to score, home and away, is an in-house calculation. Moving on to corners. So this bottom half, we have corners and cards. So corners, again, it's just taken from the sources here, the average of the Sporting Index and SpreadX. It could be one or the other. There's the line, and we break it down by half, by home and away, and by home and away in each half as well, which some of it comes from the average, some of it we derive from the parent line. Little calculator over on the side here as well, just to change the up and the down. Match booking points are taken from the spreads. We have 41.05, which is the average of Sporting Index and SpreadX. And then we convert that into cards. If you want to know how, go up to the hub, go to the sports strategies. We've got a little page there that explains the equation that we use to convert booking points into cards. And again, we split by first half, second half, home away, and by home and away by half. Finally, just a couple of lines from Betfair Exchange, sending off and penalty. If there are fair odds, there aren't just now. And the shots and targets lines are available at the bottom. So we can copy all of this to CSV, but also we can have a look at the bet builder. So I'm just going to open that up here. If I open up that game. And the useful thing is, if I have a look at the bookie bashing lines, the cards and the corners, they both come from the detailed lines. So I open up BBX cards. I see it. Over 3 cards is 1.83, right? So let's say I'm using this and I'm saving them to my private tracker. If I had the question, what expectancy was used to come up with 1.83 and what was the source of data. Now, generally, you're not going to find that at bookmakers. You're certainly not going to find that with other tipsters, but we want everything to be transparent at bookie bashing. You see, here's the calculator with the line. 1.83 is our over 3 cards. And if you go into detailed games, you can scroll down to cards and you can see that the expectancy that we used to come up with that figure is 3.9. And the source of the data was a BB calculation from the booking points. The booking points themselves came from an average of Sporting Index and SpreadX. That transparency is really key for us at bookie bashing. If maybe one of the sources of data has got the line wrong, you can drill into that and you can find out. So we don't expect you to just take this data and run with it. If you find a lot of value and you want to be inquisitive, you can drill into detail games. You can see the expectancy. You can see the source of data. Same with corners as well. In fact, in the bet builder, you can add corners and cards together. It's not a direct multiplication. There is inclusivity involved in that. For more information about that, see the bet builder advanced video. So the detailed tool really covers goals, corners, and cards, as well as a bit of shots on target and a couple of other lines from Betfair. It will give you the expectancy and it will give you the source of the data for full transparency about where the information comes from to be used in calculating lines on the bet builder and on private trackers at bookiebashing.net.